back to Let Glory Shine. I'm your host, Martha Glory, and I'm so happy that you've joined us for another episode of Let Glory Shine. Today, I have a guest that when I first met her, I felt her energy, her essence, her divinity through the screen on a Zoom call. Somebody had connected us, and when you meet these people and you just connect immediately and you realize there's a soul connection that's much deeper than just a connection or just a Zoom chat. That was what happened the first time that I got to meet Dr. Rani. So I'm going to bring Dr. Rani on, and I'm excited for you to get to hear a little bit about her story and her healing journey. Hi, Dr. Rani. So glad you're here.
Hello, Martha. Thank you for inviting me on your show. And I'm really excited to share with your audience, to be with you. And I love the title of your show, Let Glory Shine. And it's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So, Dr. Rani, you and I got to have a little bit of a chat, and I got to know a little bit about your story, but my audience didn't get to be part of that chat. So, I'd like you to share anything that you're willing to share about your journey through trauma and healing.
Oh, wow. There is too much to say, but I'll share just a part of it because when we experience trauma, it starts from a, from the womb, I would say to people. And our parents do their best, but they do with what they know. So I have parents who've been very, very busy as I was when I was little, trying to raise the family. When people are young, and I don't think I would have been able at 20 years old to raise a child. So I honor them for doing that, for raising me at that age. But it wasn't easy for them. And as I grew up, I was about 4 years old, and I had a little sister at that time. And what happened is, so my parents were busy, dad working, mom looking after my sister, and they didn't have a lot of time. And but the only person who had time for me was my grandmother. And she was the one whenever she would visit me, I would spend hours. She would listen to me. She would talk to me. She was my doll. She would let me do everything, comb her hair. So it was wonderful memories, but she didn't stay very long. So at around 4.5 years old, as I started to understand things, she left. She passed away. So that was a big, big loss for me as a child. I didn't know how to process it. And nobody was there at that time. When my grandmother passed away, my mom was busy, was panicking. The family was getting things done for the funeral. And I remember I sat at the corner and I watched her, but I couldn't figure, I couldn't understand things. But after she passed away, after a few weeks, I started to feel like a lost child. It's like I didn't know. I felt like losing my bearing. For me, she was my anchor because she was the one who would have that time for me. But when she passed away, I didn't get that attention anymore that I needed. And that made me feel very empty, very lost, very confused, and I shut down. I started to shut down even more when she passed away. I was already quiet due to some other trauma I experienced because when I was very, very little, there was a nanny who looked after me at about 2.5 months. And for me, that was like a form of being a bit abandoned. So there was that abandonment and rejection there. So now my grandmother passed away, but I didn't know all that as a child. But I just had a feeling of loss, emptiness, that I didn't belong. And soon after that, I was sexually abused at kindergarten by somebody by the cleaner's son. And I didn't think that would have had an impact, but I took a lot of time to tell my parents because I was scared to tell them. I scared of their reaction. And I told them, then they changed my school. And as I grew up, I felt confused, lost, and then went to school, was very, very shy. The only time I spoke was around 7 years old at school, and I tried to defend a classmate, but the teacher, the supply teacher who just replaced my teacher, he was so upset that I stood up and talk on behalf of my classmate. And from that day, he threatened me, he bullied me until I left the school. So there was a lot of things that happened. And after that, as a child, my coping mechanism was to shut down, not to talk anymore. Because when you talk, what happens? Adults will scream at you, adults will attack you. So that was the coping mechanism. And as I started working, I didn't pay attention, but after 7, 8 years old, I started getting sick, Martha. Couldn't have throat issues because I couldn't speak my truth. I had to suppress my voice. So I had throat issues, had surgery, and then I had as I started working, I was bullied by women at senior position, men, women in academia. Oh my God, it was the journey of my life of being bullied. And when I started the healing journey 4 years ago, I really did intensive work that I still do every day. And this has changed my life completely. For the first time, I have stayed in a job for 7 years. I used to hop jobs every year because of the bullying, workplace bullying. So I am so proud that now I don't say the place is the best place, but I can manage the situations and how I behave in the job, which is a big thing for me. Yes. So doing the healing has been life-changing, I would say. That's why I am here with you today.
Wow, that was an acorn version of a very long story, I know, but thank you for highlighting all of that. There's so many parts that I want to dig into. But first I want to say bravo for finding your voice. That's healing in itself because as you know, when our voice is suppressed, that becomes and when you started having those throat issues, that's an outward manifestation of an internal problem, right? You were
Yes.
forced to be
Yeah.
quiet, to swallow your words, and that created an actual physical manifestation in having those throat issues. To me, when I explain that to clients, that that their physical issues are related to their issues internally, it blows their mind because it's all connected. It's all connected. And so when you
Yes.
when you talked about that, in that coping mechanism, I just shut down. I just be quiet because I didn't want to get in trouble. And when that becomes the narrative so young,
Mm.
that becomes our identity, that I'm
Yeah.
shy, that I don't speak. But then that leads into the bullying. And then when you're bullied one time after another time, that becomes another identity because now you tell yourself, I always get bullied. And when you
Yes.
say, I always get bullied, that creates more bullying because we know our thoughts have power, our words have power. That creates our reality. And so you just kept repeating the same cycle. And I did the same thing because it was
Mm.
my coping mechanism.
Yes.
I always get sexually abused. I always get physically abused because it was
Mm.
true, right? But that just created more of the same. So I got myself into situations where I would be abused again. And
Mm.
so when you come out on the other side and you realize these cyclical things that had happened in our lives, and then we realize that we have the power, the authority over that, and we can stop it in its tracks. That's so empowering. And so
Yeah.
hearing you get to that place where you said 4 years ago, I said, I'm done and I'm going to start working on myself and I'm going to start healing. And now you've been in a job for 7 years, you can just of the realization, the understanding of how we got here is so powerful. So thank you so much for sharing that. Another part
You
that I
are
really want to
welcome.
highlight um,
Yes.
is you talked at the very beginning about your parents did the best that they could. And that hits me very deeply because I shared a little bit about my background with you and being born in a religious cult.
Mm,
And, you know, it was very hard for me to forgive my parents. It was
mm,
easier for me to forgive Cult Man than it was for me to forgive my parents until I realized they were doing the best that they could with what they knew and what they had.
mm.
And suddenly, when you get to be a mother yourself, or you start to understand, oh, this is a hard job, right? And
This is the hardest job to be a parent, because not only they look after the child when the child is in the womb, is a baby, but as the child grow up, even become adults now, they still are there to support their children. So this is the biggest project a parent could ever have, is having children, raising those children. Yeah, I really honor those parents who do this job because it's not an easy job, and all their trauma comes along the way as well as they parent the child, their own issues is being reflected back to them. So yeah.
yes, yes. And so when I realized that about my parents, that
Mm,
set me free, right?
mm,
That I was like, okay, they didn't allow these things to happen to me maliciously or because they,
mhm.
didn't like me or any of the
Oh,
things, the narratives that I had told myself, right? Or that they didn't care or, and then I realized another layer was they didn't know. How can they be responsible for something that they didn't know anything about? Right. Like, yes, they had joined the cult before I was born and I was
mm,
born into it and all those things, but they didn't know the things that were happening to me because I didn't know how to communicate those things,
mm,
right? Because
mm.
we were told to sit down and shut up.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah.
you, we were
Yes.
suppressed, we were told, we were
Mm,
controlled, programmed, sit down and shut up, right?
yes.
And so I thought it was really important to just express that our parents did the best that they could. Did you have to come to a point with your parents that you were able to forgive them and you were able to set them free from the expectations of what they should have done for us?
Absolutely. Now, after so many years, and I look back at it, I realize that I made the choice to to be here on earth at this time with this family. I made the choice before being born. Wherever I came from, I chose my parents. It's not that they choose us. No,
Yeah.
they never choose us. We chose them. So we shouldn't blame them because we really made that choice that we come through them and we are going to learn our life lesson. That's why we come on this earth, to learn our lesson, and our parents are our greatest teachers to help us to learn our lessons. And I'm very grateful for them because it's coming through them, has they have given us life. We are very grateful this life, and it has helped me now to, as an adult, to take responsibility for my life and not blaming them. I was blaming them at some point, when I started the healing journey. I say, yeah, but after that, I realized, no, 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 I made the choice and I have to take responsibility of that and heal myself and learn my lessons so that in another lifetime, things will be different. We always have that choice,
Yes.
and it's up to us. And there's a beautiful poem by a Persian poet called, I don't know if I'll pronounce the name really well because I'm not good at pronunciation. The name is Kahil Gibran. And he said, your children are not your children. They are the children of the universe. And that the children that something he said was that you come through your parents, you know? It's not that you are from your parents, but you come through them because you are not theirs.
Right.
You are the children of the Creator. So we have to remember that our parents have had such a challenging task to raise us.
Yeah.
So I honor every parent who is listening and anybody who is going to become a parent. So you have a gigantic job, and I'm sure you will do the best you can with what you have. And that's all
Yeah.
you can do. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about the soul contract, right? That's what you're
Mm.
describing when you say that we pick our parents because we have lessons that our soul needs to learn, right? When I was first uh, introduced to that concept, it was like, whoa, why would I ever choose to go through the things that I've gone through and the lessons that right? But then you get to be 46 years old and you look back on your life and you realize that everything that you've been through was for the purpose of what you're doing today. And
Absolutely.
that is a um, that's an amazing, beautiful understanding of
Mm.
our soul's purpose, right? And then you can't help but to release anybody and everybody that's hurt you, because without all of that, you wouldn't get to be the person that you are today, right? With those lessons. But you also have the choice, and you and I talked about this on the first call. We get the choice to heal from it or to stay stuck in it. And if our soul doesn't learn those lessons this go round, trust and believe you're going to have to do it again. And I'm not doing it again. I'm not learning these same lessons. I'm doing it. I'm healing, doing the work this time because I want to continue to elevate my soul's
Mm.
purpose and to be able to live in that and stand in that. So with the last 10 minutes or so that we have, I want you to talk about your healing journey. What kinds of practical things you do, or that you could offer somebody else that's listening that is beginning their healing journey?
The first thing that I would ask anybody who is at the beginning of that journey is to find a therapist. I started with a hypnotherapy, but they don't need. I train as a hypnotherapist because I wanted to understand myself. Martha, I train in so many things, astrology, tarot reading, just to understand myself. And then I started helping people. But anybody who is starting that journey of healing, find somebody, a therapist that you can connect with, that you can resonate with, and listen on YouTube. There's so many things you can start by listening. That's how I started. Listening on YouTube. We are so, so lucky now to have all these various social media to learn. So start listening and find somebody that you can resonate, and then join any of the free resources that they offer, and that will start you on that healing journey. Slowly you will start to develop new practices, new daily routines. Then it will lead to a synchronicity of things and of people, and you will find the right modality, the right help at the right time. So just take that step. Watch on YouTube as many, because the YouTube, social media is like that. If you watch something that you like, other things will pop up that will help you. So I think that's the easiest thing to do nowadays. And but go deeper on that journey, because there are so many layers. Don't give up on yourself. It is hard at times, but when you release whatever needs to be released, you feel more lighter in your own energy. So
Yeah.
it's not an easy journey. You are very, very brave, anybody who is taking that journey of healing, but it is so worth it, because everything that you are searching for is within you. And I've got a beautiful quote I would like to share with the audience, is to remember that you are the treasure that you have been seeking. It's not in the outside world, the perfect relationship, the perfect person. It is first you have to be the best person to yourself. Develop a great relationship to yourself, and that will be a game changer. Your life will change, the people you will attract will change. It will and you will be able to transform other people's lives. So take that journey, You are very brave to be even here at this time. So, and there is whatever you are doing, you are here for a great purpose. Just remember that.
Yeah. I love that quote that you shared, that we are our own treasure that we've been seeking. And that was a huge moment for me when I realized it was during some mirror work that I was doing. Mirror work was very powerful for me in reclaiming my own identity, because growing up for so many years, literally not knowing who I was, not knowing what I liked, not ever looking at myself and saying, oh, you have beautiful brown eye. Like I never looked at myself and truly
Mhm.
saw me. And so when I started doing this mirror work and I started to fall in love with the person that I was looking at, that was crazy powerful, because we weren't taught to love ourselves in the cult. We weren't taught that we were valuable to God. We weren't taught that loving ourselves was the most important thing outside of loving our creator, right? Like we were never taught those things. And so they were foreign concepts to my brain. And so when I first came to understand that, and then I said, well, if I truly love me, then I love my creator. But if I say I love my creator and I don't love me, then I can't love my creator, because
Mm.
it's the circle of my existence. I have to love me if I say I love my creator, and vice versa. And that was a powerful shift for me, where I was like, I have to love her. She is from the creator and the maker of the heaven and the earth. She's a treasure. I love that. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been so wonderful talking to you today and to your audience, Martha. It's like I love that connection that we have. Like you said at the beginning, it's like a soul connection. It's such a deep connection when we just met each other. It was wonderful, and I'm very grateful for meeting you on my journey, on each other's journey, and it's been. And I'm sure we'll be able to connect even more in the future. And you'll be on my podcast in a few minutes.
Yes, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. So, Dr. Rani, before we close up, what are a couple of the modalities that you continue to practice in your private life that help you to continue to elevate, grow, and find that healing?
What I do every day is I do meditation, which is very, very important. And then I do my gratitude. The first thing I get up in the morning, I do my gratitude, I do meditation, I do a bit of reading, and then I do breathing because I train as a breathwork coach. So I'm focusing on breathing more deeply because I know so many of us, we breathe from the chest, but we don't. And when we breathe from the chest, it activates our fear receptors. And when we breathe from our tummy, it activates the calmness within us. So that's very, very important. So I am learning to do more breath work throughout the day, not only once a day, because the time we are now, we feel a lot of energy. So it's important throughout the day. A few times throughout the day, just stop for 2 minutes and do some breathing. That is so, so important. That's what I'm doing. I used to do it just morning, but now I do it different times of the day, and I find it very, very useful. So I do breathing, and then in the evening, I do some gratitude again. I listen to another audio. I do some sound healing that I listen. That's really helping me. So it's for everybody to see which modality works for you. But I love doing that. And I clear my energy as well, morning and afternoon, my energy centers. So I do a lot of work
On yourself, right?
on myself.
You're the most important investment that you have. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Breathing, I talk about that as a coach as well. A lot of the need for intentional breathing, right? We take breathing for granted, that,
Mhm.
well, we just breathe. It's automatic. It just happens. And the truth is when you learn how to intentionally breathe, and you have to learn it, it's not
Yeah.
just like, no, nobody, we don't think about it. So you don't think about what it means to intentionally breathe. And intentionally breathing creates that space between our fight and flight response, and the nervous system calms down. I had no idea that you could learn to breathe. And that was like, that was magical for me because I had spent so many decades in fight or flight, right? Like that, my
Mm,
nervous system was always hijacked. My nervous system was
yes,
always on
yes,
high alert because I
absolutely.
had been through so much trauma in such
Hmm.
a short period of time, like in,
Yeah.
as you were as well, that
Hmm.
you don't know that you can intentionally breathe and bring your nervous system into regulation. I talk a lot about box breathing because that helps to just suppress, that fight or flight response. And it also clears your head. If
Oh,
you're
yes.
intentionally breathing, you can't be spinning out of control, right?
And you will not have so many thoughts coming. And I've seen for myself so many benefits of breathing: better focus, better sleep, the bowel works better, no more constipation, and no more acid reflux for people having digestion issues. So breathing is so, so important, but we take it for granted. Like you say, it's the first thing that we do when we are born. That's life. Breathing is life, and the last thing that we do is exhale when we leave this world. So we inhale and then we exhale, but we can't inhale. We will we will suffocate, and we can't exhale. We have to bring that balance, and it's up to us. Whatever happens to us is okay, but now we have to regulate our nervous system, because I talk about the vagus nerve when I talk about breath work. I'm sure you know about how that vagus nerve, which is the vagabond nerve, is connected to all our organs. So when the vagus nerve we get the stress, it sends the signal to all the other organs of our body, and we start to have other stomach issues, all sort of issues. So breathing is life. Breathing is everything. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Dr. Rani, I could keep on talking to you. This has been such a blessing to me. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on my show. As I close the show for today, I have one question that I like to ask my guest, and that is, what does it mean for Dr. Rani to let her glory shine?
What does it mean to me to let my glory shine? Is to speak my truth.
Mm.
You know, that is very important to me, to be able to express what I feel, and no matter what people will say, but in a kind way, but have to express it, and no more suppressing.
Yes,
There
that
are
feels like a
different
full
ways.
circle moment, full circle, talking about being
Yes.
suppressed, throat chakra, all the things, to
Yes.
letting your glory shine through self-expression and being able to share your voice. So thank you so much for being on my show. I'll be
Thank you
back
so much.
next week, same time, same station. Thank you so much for joining Let Glory Shine, and we'll see you next week.
Let glory shine from the ashes I rise. Every scar a story, every tear baptized. This is my freedom, this is my climb. Let glory shine, it's the power inside. This is your prosperity era, where dreams align with grace, abundance flows like rivers. You've stepped into your place. Rise, reign, and remember, you were born to shine. Welcome to your moment, Prospera, it's time.
We hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV Network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? Contact Elena Rodriguez.